Hello everyone, Heather Briggs, Independent Scentsy Consultant. I wanted to make a quick video to talk to you about my business cards and about the way I do my samples. So I had a couple questions about my business cards today, so I wanted to show you guys some examples of how I do them. So this is the front of my business card. I got it done on Vistaprint. I love the business cards we can get from the Scentsy Family store, but I also really like to customize mine because I print the felt sample instructions on the back of it. So when I first started doing felt samples, I was attaching a separate card to each of my business cards because some people don't know that you can put the felt samples in the warmer, and so this kind of gives them that instructions. And so I was going through more cards doing it that way, having to print up those on my own and then stapling them all together. So I just take my little felt sample and I put it in the envelope, staple it to it, label it. These, of course, are February scent of the month, so I used the scent of the month stickers. Sometimes I don't do that. Sometimes I just label them. I put labels on them, or I write it on there. But this time I was kind of in a hurry, and that kind of saves me time to just stick the sticker on there. It also gives people the chance to smell them right away. But I don't do that for when I take my samples and I put them on the scent of the month flyer. That's kind of how I kind of double my samples, or get a little bit more, because you have 72 stickers in the kit, and then you get 50 flyers. So I don't label the samples that I put in. I don't label the samples that I put inside the flyers because I figure it's already got the scent right there. And again, that kind of makes it so I'm able to make 50 more samples without having to label them. Kind of saves me on time. And a lot of times I am busy with the kids and I don't have a whole lot of time. I try to do it while they nap. So that's the best way I have found to do it. Now a little bit about my samples. I do use the felt samples. Yeah. I do use the felt samples. This time I just got a sheet of white felt at my Walmart. They were 23 cents for a sheet. I can make like 100. I can make like 100 different samples out of one sheet, so it kind of helps, you know. Again, that's 23 cents for a sheet. I can normally make right at the 72 sticker or samples that I use with the stickers. I can normally make all of those with just one bar. So I started doing felt samples because when I was doing the cute shape samples, first of all, I was using a lot more wax. It took, depending on which shapes I was doing, I was only getting, you know, anywhere from 25 to 45 samples out of one bar, depending again on which ones I used. I did really like them. These ones I got from Hobby Lobby. They're not very deep. They're not very big. This one's cracked. But, and then I would put 1 to 2 little honeycombs in each sample. These ones I also got from Hobby Lobby, and they're little stars. They're really cute, and I could make 2 of these sheets with one bar, so that's 2, So that's 40 samples, and it was pushing it. So going from making 40 samples to 72 samples with one bar, it has saved me a lot. I feel like the felt samples are very strong. I know my mother-in-law always puts hers in her warmer. She always uses it when I send it to her. So, you know, she says that she's able to smell it for a little while. She changes her wax every day anyways. So she said she can use it for her day, and it works out great for her. And so that's what I started doing. It's, again, a little bit more budget friendly. You know, trying to figure out how to be able to make the samples and be able to afford to do so. That is what I've decided to do. I also, my other problem with these samples was living in Colorado, and now living in Tennessee, I'm sure I'll have the same problem. In the summer, I'm not very good about taking my purse from my car to my house. I always leave it in my car. I just lock my car, and I've never had to worry. In the small town in Colorado I was in, it was no big deal. And now my purse is my car is in the garage, so again, not something I really think twice about. But what would happen is it would get really, really hot even in the evenings, or I wouldn't go anywhere the next day, and it would stay, you know, my purse would stay in the car all day, and then all of a sudden I would just have this melted pile of goop in the bottom of my baggies. And with the felt samples, that doesn't happen. The felt just kind of reabsorbs it as it melts, and it still looks just as good as it did the day that I made them. I would spend a lot of time making my samples really cute in all of these designs. I have several different trays, a heart, fleur-de-lis, you know, little things, and they were really, really cute. And then I would forget them, and I would feel like my entire day was a waste, because it would take me 3 to 4 hours to make samples, and then, you know, again, it wouldn't even be worth it, you know. And the cooling time of a felt sample is a lot less than these samples. These I always popped into the freezer, and that sped up the process. But normally, by the time I am done getting these all laid out, thank you, I needed that. By the time I get all these laid out, I can normally start putting them in a bag if I start from where I started before, and by the time I get to the end, they're all cool. It doesn't take very much time for them to dry and, you know, be able to go in the bag without making a huge mess. And again, if you do that too soon with these, they either don't come out of the mold very well, or you end up breaking them easier or squishing them, and then again your time is kind of wasted. I see plenty of people use these. They are beautiful samples. I just feel like where I live, it's too hot for my forgetful self to you know, to use my time doing this. So I usually use about 1.5 bars now to make 122 samples, give or take. I don't normally try to go over that 50 for the flyers and then the 72 stickers. Sometimes I have a couple extra, and sometimes I'm 1 or 2 short, just depending on how long I spend, how consistent my little felt pieces are. I have taken the time in the past to actually trace this sticker on the felt sheet, and then I make my little felt samples this same shape. It's super cute. It's something I really like to do, but sometimes I have time for it, sometimes I don't, so it just depends on how, you know, my month is going. I like to do crafty things like that, so it's kind of a relaxing time that I get to spend, you know, working on something that I like. So sometimes I do that, but this time, you know, they're just squares this time. But you know, it depends on how consistent. If I have really big ones like this one where it just barely fits in the baggie, or, you know, a little bit smaller, then I can make a few more. but I feel like they're budget friendly enough that it's not a big deal if I do a little bit bigger. So the way I do my wax, or melt my wax for my samples, when I first started out, I would use a Pyrex glass measuring cup. I'd put it in the microwave and microwave it for 30 seconds. And then I'd take it out and I'd stir it. And then I would go back and do it again until it was all melted, or until it was mostly melted, and then I would just kind of swirl it around to get the rest to melt. That worked out fine. I've heard some people don't like to do it that way, but when I first started out, I wasn't spending a whole lot of extra money on my business because I didn't have it to put back in the business. I wasn't bringing it in to put back into my business. So that's how I started out, and it's a great way to start out if that's what you have. You know, use what you have, do what works for you. But now what I do is I got a chocolate melter. It's just a Wilton chocolate maker. I got it from Walmart. What? Yeah, it was 20 bucks, I think, at Walmart. Where I lived before, I did not have a Hobby Lobby or Michael's close by, but you can get them at Michael's and Hobby Lobby. They have them for the same price, but you can use like the 40% coupons that they have and get it a little bit cheaper. And this one has a silicone dish. And it's kind of nice because, you know, if I don't get it cleaned out when I'm done, I can just kind of like move it around and get the wax that's still left to break up, and then it rinses right out. It's got the easy pour spout for when I was doing these samples. But now I just dip the wax right, or I just dip the felt right in there. I use a long pair of tweezers that I have to dip it in and then take it back out, just so that I don't become a mess from it. But this works great. I leave it on low, I let it melt, and normally I'll put it on and then I'll start to get my baggies ready. And then by the time my baggies are ready, my wax is melted, and I can just kind of do it as a system. It kind of took me some time to figure out what system worked best and how to get it done in the most time-efficient and cost-efficient way. But I wanted to share with you how I did those things and how I set up my business cards. Again, I really like how, you know, my business cards have the sample instructions on the back. I just kind of threw it in here, but so, thank you. Oh, that's all right here. Thank you. So on the back it just says, a felt sample travels better than a wax cube sample. It lies flat and reabsorbs the wax as it melts. No worries, the sample is safe to heat in your warmer. The wax prevents it from getting stuck to your warmer, drying out, or burning, even when heated for a long period of time. Tip: to get the most of your felt sample, warm it in a small warmer in a smaller space, such as a nightlight warmer in a bathroom. The smaller the space, the bigger the scent throw. And I also put felt sample is also perfect to keep in your purse and keep it smelling nice. So that's how I did mine, and I honestly just got that off Google when I, you know, those were the cards I was printing up before, and then I added about leaving it in my purse, because every single time I have one that I keep in my wallet, and every time I go to the bank, the teller always compliments me on how my money smells great because of the wax being in there. So I just wanted to leave you all with that. Just remember, you know, all it takes is self-confidence and self-motivation, and that is what will bring you success in this business. I believe in you, and you need to believe in yourself, and you can succeed. I hope you have a great day.